It's The Last Stand. And here is your host, Brian Custer.
That's right. It is The Last Stand, where we bring you the biggest names in the sport. And our guest today comes from the sport of boxing in the heavyweight division. He is the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Destroyer. Andy Ruiz joins us here on The Last Stand. Andy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. It's really good to be here, and appreciate you guys for making me be here.
Absolutely, my brother. Let's get right to it because I know you had surgery on your right knee in August. How's the recovery going? Where are you in terms of the recovery and your training?
You know what? The recovery has been amazing. Right after I had surgery, a week after, I already started doing the therapy and all that. So today's actually my first day sparring, so it's actually perfect. So I'm really excited to get back in the ring, and hopefully in the beginnings of January, I should be in top shape and ready to go.
Well, you led right into my next question because I know initially you wanted to fight like Charles Martin. I want to say October, but then you had to obviously have the surgery. So it looks like then January we'll see Andy Ruiz against whom though?
You know what? There's a lot of opportunities right now. There's a lot of heavyweights up and coming heavyweights right now, and I wanted to fight Adam Karnowski when Tyson Fury fought, but sadly he got the loss, and we're just still looking right now. But like I said, the chore is open, and there's just so many opportunities right now.
One of the things that you've done in the recent past is you've changed trainers. I know initially you were with Manny Robles, and then all of a sudden you joined the Canelo kind of team and Eddie Reynoso. Tell me why. Tell me about the change. Why Eddie Reynoso?
You know what? Because, well, why not? There's just so many good fighters over here, and I felt like I needed to do something different. I felt like I wasn't doing my best and wasn't learning more things that I should have, But it wasn't the trainer's fault. It wasn't nobody. It was just something that I wanted to do, I wanted to be with the best fighters and be with the best trainers, and that's exactly where I'm at. And, we're learning a lot, we're learning a lot of discipline and, staying in the gym, because before I would fight and I would go crazy, and now even though I don't have a fight date or nothing, I'm still showing up 3-4 times out of the week, trying to stay busy, trying to stay in shape. So, I got to be ready.
That you're right about that, and you're now training alongside one of pound for pound the best fighter in the world, in Canelo. How has training with Canelo changed you as a fighter?
You know what? It changed a lot, because he gives everybody motivation. He gives everybody hope, because we all want to be like him, right? We all want to be pound for pound. We all want to be exactly in his positions, but we can't be in that position if we're not putting all this hard work and dedication. So that's exactly what he's showing us. And, he's not just showing me, he's showing my other fighters that I have and other champions that are here. And, it's a blessing to be by their side.
And talk to me about the change. Talk to me about, let's say, where Andy Ruiz was from a weight perspective when you first joined to where Andy Ruiz is now.
You know what? Before, I wouldn't really care about my condition or about my appearance or anything like that. So now that we came here, it's a whole different game. We like right now, I feel strong. Even though it's my first day sparring out here and all that. But the change from being from before and to now is so much better, because the mind is just on a different level, and being around different champions is what gives us motivation, gives us hope. And, I'm pretty sure I give other people hope as well, but I just got to put in that work so we could get back to get those belts.
We saw, I think there was a picture of you on social media that went viral of you kind of flexing. It was like, oh, look at Andy Ruiz. What's the weight difference compared to when you first started to where you are now?
I was basically 300 pounds, when I fought Anthony Joshua, and now we're like at 260. We try to maintain, but the weight difference, it's a lot, man. It's a lot difference, and I feel so much better, more lighter. I know I had a tough fight against Arreola, but luckily I had that condition and the balance on my feet to get that victory. And, we made some adjustments there too. I started boxing around. I started doing things that I wouldn't normally do. But like I said, being here, we start to learn different stuff. And, if you're in a bad spot in or a bad situation in a fight, you have to use your brain. You have to use your mind to how can I say this, to come out of those obstacles that you're having a hard time. But that's exactly what we're doing here, and I just can't wait.
Let's
till
talk
next
about
year.
some fights. Let's start with Wilder Fury 3. What did you think about that fight?
I think that was an awesome fight, man. It was going back and forth. I didn't know who was going to win. Dante, he has a heart of a lion. He don't want to give up. He kept coming. He kept getting up and going down and getting up, and it was an amazing fight. But hats off to Tyson Fury. He did his thing.
In your opinion, Tyson Fury the best heavyweight in the world right now?
I agree with that. I agree, Tyson Fury.
What about the Deontay Wilder? I think there was some chatter that you and Deontay Wilder would fight. Do you see that fight in the future?
Yes, I do, and I think that would be an amazing fight, me against Deontay Wilder. And we're both part of the same team, and it's all business. So I wouldn't mind getting in the ring with him. I feel I could beat him. You got to get it on.
What did you think about Alexander Usyk's dominating win over Anthony Joshua? What did you think about that?
You know what? At first, I thought Anthony Joshua was going to manhandle him. I thought he was going to be the bigger fighter. I thought he was going to box him around, just like how he did to me. And, I felt he went in there without a game plan, thinking he was just going to be the bigger and stronger guy. But Usyk, he's a tricky fighter, man. He's a lefty, but, all these heavyweights just throw 1-2 punches. They rely on 2-3 punches, and I feel that's where I come different and start throwing different bombs and combinations. But Usyk did an amazing job. He really surprised me, and he's a man of God. So
how do you think his reign as unified champ will be? Do you think he will remain and be a dominant force in the heavyweight division for years to come? What do you think?
You know what? Sky's the limit. It's really all up to him for him to do the best he can. I wouldn't want him to do the same mistakes I did. Me getting all the belts and partying and doing all the dumb stuff and not worrying about keeping those belts, But I'm pretty sure Usyk is going to do the right thing. And I'm pretty sure in the rematch is going to be a hell of a fight. But I know Anthony Joshua is over here in the United States looking to get tips from everybody. I feel he's a little lost right now, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get it together. And I feel he just needs to box. He needs to box those guys around that counterpunch.
And do you think the rematch will be any different?
If he does a different game plan and maybe fights like when he fought me, maybe he could get that victory. Maybe because that fight was close. It was pretty close, and until Usyk started dominating in the later rounds. But if Usyk pressures him and counter punches him and does those things, I think he would get the victory.
Everyone keeps asking,
again.
what is the deal with Anthony Joshua? I want you to listen to. I want to read you something that Tim Bradley said. This is what Tim Bradley said. Quote, he was asked, what does he believe is wrong with Anthony Joshua? And he told Boxing Insider, quote, Andy Ruiz, I think that ruined him. I think that ruined his confidence. I think he's also scared to get hit. He's gun shy. He doesn't want to throw because he's afraid of getting hit now. So that's why you don't see him throw anymore. What's your response to that?
It's kind of harsh. It's kind of harsh. Timothy Bradley saying that, but he knows a lot about boxing and he reads a lot of fighters. He knows when someone's hurt or when someone's not doing the right things that they used to do it before. But I don't know what to say about that, man. It's crazy. I wouldn't want to destroy anybody's career at all, But I could see him being gun shy. I could see him hesitating a little bit. I could see him getting hurt, and maybe he's a little scared of getting hurt because he doesn't want the same thing to happen to him. It's normal for fighters to I don't want to say feel like that, but I feel he needs to get his confidence back. No, I don't want to say I ruined him, and I wouldn't want to ruin nobody's career or or anything like that. But I do agree with Timothy Bradley. He is gunshot. He is hesitating too much. He's just thinking too much instead of just going in there and become the dog that you are.
And so if that's the case, why do you think he won the rematch then against you?
He won the rematch against me because I did not do my part. That's the only reason why. I did not do my part. If I would have stick to the game plan and did the same thing that I did in the first fight, trust me to God, I would have beat him. But, I had to learn the hard way, and I got to get back to the ladders and get back on top, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. I just hope Anthony Joshua overcomes this, and he becomes champion again, so I could take those bouts back.
Hey, take me back then to that night, because it was 2 years ago when you stopped him in that 7th round. You were a late replacement for big baby Gerald Miller there. Huge underdog. A number of people said, man, Anthony Joshua just doesn't look right. Do you think he looked at you, your outwardly appearance, because he really didn't know too much about you back then? Do you think he just looked at you and said, oh, this is going to be easy work tonight?
Of course. I think till this day, people still think that about me. They look at me, but like I tell everybody, don't judge a book by its cover. And, I felt till I was asking for this fight, so I felt like I already won before I even fought there, because I don't know, I had this confidence, I had this motivation that I knew that I was gonna beat him, and I kept telling every single person that would interview me, watch, I'm gonna do the biggest upset, I'm gonna become the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. And what do you know, I end up doing that. And I started putting words out there in the atmosphere. I started praying so much for this day to come, and it finally came.
It did come. What was that like for you when you became the unified heavyweight champion of the world?
It was amazing. It was something that I've been waiting for 28 years for this moment. And I swear to God, if I could go back, I would do so many things different. And, I would just be disciplined and all that. But like I said, things happen for a reason. I'm here now, and I'm going to be better than ever.
And along those lines, then, biggest lesson Andy Ruiz learned after losing those titles?
The biggest lesson I learned was losing those titles and not taking the thing serious. Once you have everything, and then once you have everything and you lose everything, that's when you start thinking and learning, and you start thinking like, wow, the things that are really, really important. And there's a lot of, I don't think I'm the only fighter that's been through that, but it is a hard learning experience.
Give us, for us laymen who certainly don't have that kind of lifestyle, give me the difference. Give me the difference when Andy Ruiz as a fighter, and then all of a sudden you became heavyweight champ. Tell me about something that happened and came into your life that you were just like, you know what, this is great, I'm going to enjoy it. What was the difference?
Just doing the things that you never thought that you would do, doing the things that you would see in movies, hanging around with famous actors that you would never think you would, going to meet the president. I was everywhere, man. And I don't want to say I regret it or nothing, because I did had fun and I enjoyed those things, but I kind of forgot what was important at that time, and that's exactly why I'm right here busting my ass off to get back to that moment that I was in, and I'm sure I will, God willing, working hard. Like I said, Anthony Joshua beat me when I was in 30% of conditioning and shape. So imagine me being in 110%. But like I said, we just got to stay disciplined.
Yeah. Where is Andy Ruiz in the heavyweight division? In your opinion, is he a top 5 heavyweight?
Of course, I'm a top 5, top 4, top 3. The main thing is just getting the opportunity, and gotta show in and show out. So you gotta be good.
I read somewhere that you said after you took that loss that you even suffered from depression. after that loss in that fight. Talk to me about what happened, Andy.
Well, of course, by having everything on your side, having the world on your side, and then out of nowhere, boom, everything's gone. And I felt like I let so many people down, my family, all the Mexican fans, all the raza, I let them down. And I kind of felt bad. I kind of, not just for them, but for myself, and I felt I did not do the things right. Maybe if I would have trained my hardest and then I would have lost, then I would have been like, all right, he was a better man. But this time it defeated me more because I kind of I was doing it on my own. There was no blames, no nothing, all on my own. I was depressed, and that's why I had to make a change. And I messaged Canelo on Instagram, and I told him, hey, you think you could give me the opportunity? I'm tired of living the way I'm living. I'm tired of training however I want, and partying, doing all these things, because I was just trying to make myself happy by buying cars, by buying houses and all that. But the only thing that makes me happy is me doing the things right and being here in the gym and retaining those titles. But yeah, damn well, I was really depressed, really sad. But we're here now.
Yeah, and along those lines, you work hand in hand there with Canelo now. He's got that fight with Caleb Plant, looks to be undisputed. Give me the secret sauce about this guy. What do you have found out that maybe that we don't know when you watch and you work with this guy that makes this guy great, in your opinion?
He's just a hard worker, man. He's a hard worker, and the will of wanting to be the best, and he got it. And that's exactly why when I'm sparring here, he's over there screaming at me and telling me, come on, you gotta fucking train harder, you gotta do the things like how I do it. And I can't get mad. I can't say nothing back, because he's a man right now. So but I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. We can't take anything away from Caleb Plant, but I feel Canelo's going to be the bigger man, the stronger man. He's just an amazing counter puncher, and he's just always first and last.
Yeah. Another guy, young man that trains with you guys, Ryan Garcia. And you listen, and as talented as he is, he's had some issues too when it comes to mental health. Have you guys had a conversation? Have you helped him along that way? And the perception of Ryan is, is he a great fighter, or is he an internet fighter that has these great videos that shows off hand speed? What can you tell us about Ryan Garcia?
No, Ryan Garcia, he's a fighter. A lot of people try to talk shit and put him down, but he's an awesome fighter. He's ever since he was a young kid, and luckily he did get all those views from YouTube and all that. That's what's making him a star and made him a star, actually. But a lot of people are gonna say bad and good. So I tell everybody, all publicity is good publicity. But everyone feels down. Everybody can't be in 100% every day. But that's life. But he's still young. He has a bright future, and I still believe that he could beat all those guys in his weight.
Yeah, everybody wants him. They want to see him and Devin Haney. They want to see him and Tank Davis, him and Teofimo. What do you think about those guys? Who do you think is the best fighter out of those guys?
I like them all, man. Tank is a beast. I think Teofimo his ability is just overrated. His ability is amazing. But I think if people would fight Teofimo, I think Teofimo will beat all of them in my eyes. But I think he'll have a hard time with Ryan, though, because he's long, he's fast. It only takes one punch from Ryan to change the whole fight. He's like a heavyweight, but a little guy.
Love that. I love that. It seems like you've had this image of, hey, here's this big heavyweight, roly-poly type guy, fast hands, power, but not big on training. Was that accurate, and did that bother you at all?
It did, Of course it bothered me, but at the end of the day, that's what motivated me, by proving people wrong, proving everybody that told me, oh, you know what, this kid is too fat, he's too short, he can't make it into the heavyweight division. But I think, like I said, having that will, having that mindset, you know, your brain is the biggest, strongest thing in your body. So as long as you focus on what you want and what makes you happy, I think everything would come out. And, you know, of course, praying to God and believing in Him. And but I went through a big old roller coaster, and I'm here, and I'm ready to get back on top.
That's great. That's great to hear. Now, so you mentioned this. You have this fight with Arreola in May. Turns out really to be a slugfest. It seemed like between you guys, and no disrespect at all to Chris, but so many people wrote that Andy Ruiz is going to basically walk through Arreola, and you know, obviously that fight went down to the wire. What was your impressions of your performance in that fight?
You know what? Having the long layoff, it really it can really take a toll from yourself. You know, being inside the ring, your muscle memory is a little different. Your timing and all that. But hey, I underestimated Chris Arreola. Just how they underestimated me, I underestimated him. I thought I was gonna go in there and get the KO. I thought I was opening up too much. I had my hands down. He got me a few times, but that's the hardest thing that you could do is get down and get back up. And I had to get dropped. I think he hurt me like two, three times in the second and third round, and I had to overcome that. So that's one of the hardest things you could do in boxing, being hurt and having to change things up to get that victory. And you know, I had to do it again. I did it with Anthony Joshua, and damn well I wasn't gonna stop fighting after he hurt me. After Chris Arreola hurt me, I had to come back. And you know, these Mexican warriors they're hard, man. I don't like fighting Mexican guys, bro. I do not, because they just come forward, they take all the punches. I'm pretty sure that's what they say about me. This chubby fat Mexican guy, he's coming forward and fast, man. But that's how it was. But you know, I had to do things different, and I kind of had to box him around. I had a counter punch, and I think that's what made it difficult, and I got the victory.
Here, listen, I know you said you want to come back in January. If it's up to you and Andy Ruiz was his own matchmaker, who would you like to fight in 2022?
I would want to fight Dylan White, Tyson Fury. If Wilder wants to fight, I would fight him again. There's just so many heavyweights right now out there. But I think the main people is Dylan White and Tyson Fury and Wilder and Joshua and Usyk. Damn, all the top.
That's all the top ones. I love that. That would be fantastic. You know, the one thing I love about you is, you know, you've got the tattoos. And how many tattoos do you say Andy Ruiz has on his body?
Damn. I'm probably like 75% of my whole body. I don't know if you've seen. I have the most famous ass in the internet right now.
I saw that. I saw you got to do it on the ass cheeks. I said, "Oh my gosh, that had to hurt."
It did, man. It did. But like my tattoo artist says, his name is Ish. He's from LA, and he came down here to San Diego, and you know, we went in there 2 days in a row, and it just hurt, man. Don't even ask how I was taking the shit, because you all don't want to know.
Okay, Andy, for people who watch and listen to the podcast, we allow them to submit questions. We got a number of them on social media, so let me get right to them here. This first one comes from Twitter. Marquise, he asks, how is your mobility since surgery? Is it night and day?
It's good, you know. I think after the rehab and the therapy sessions that they were making me do helped me a lot. After my surgery, a week later, I was already doing squats. So whoever the doctor did my surgery, that did the same person from Canelo, he's an amazing job. He did amazing job.
That's great. Artman on Twitter asks, do you really want to fight Wilder, or is this something that you're being forced to do?
No, of course. I think this fight has everybody wanted to see this fight. Me against Wilder, especially all the Mexican raza. But of course, I want to fight all the top guys out there. You know, I want to do the unthinkable. I want to do something that I did before, but more greater. I feel there's still a lot more to prove for me and to show. But of course, I want to fight all the top guys.
This is a question, too. We got a number of them, and this one kept coming up. This one, Danabo from Twitter asks, how do you feel about Luis Ortiz saying Andy Ruiz is an easy fight for me? Is that a fight you would like next?
Of course. Actually, my last fight, that's exactly why I wanted to fight Charles Martin, because I wanted to get used to a lefty before I fight Luis Ortiz. But 30-something fights, people have been saying that. And until they get to the ring with me, that's when they have problems. And they're like, wow, that's when they underestimate me. But when Luis Ortiz gets in the ring with me, he's going to be like, damn, this little hot pepper Mexican boy fucking got it.
So you could see you and Luis Ortiz getting in the ring sometime next year.
Of course.
Okay. Next one from Twitter asks, do you think Anthony Joshua can bounce back and beat Usyk?
I think Anthony Joshua could bounce back and could beat Usyk. I feel he just needs to come in there with the right game plan and stick with it. And, always have a plan B. You always have a plan A, and you got to have a plan B. And I in my heart, I feel he could bounce back and get those titles back so he could fight me.
Last one, this one from Greg. He asks, he says, I worked the AJ Ruiz first fight. And all that week, he was so calm and confident. Is that how you are before all of your fights?
Most of them I am. When I'm doing the right things, I'm calm, I'm chill, because in my mind and back of our head, we know that we did all the things right? If you go with the fighter that hasn't been training or has to cut weight, in back of his mind, he's not calm. He's thinking about it too much. But for that fight, I did everything right. I trained my ass off, and that's exactly why we got the victory.
Okay, Andy Ruiz, it's time for the last segment of this show. It is called The Last Stand. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You just give me the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready?
Yep.
All right. You've had your, let's say, Rocky moment, so to speak. Have we seen the best of Andy Ruiz?
No.
Will Andy Ruiz become the heavyweight champion of the world again?
Yes, but this time it's going to be a 2-time.
Love it. Love it. In your opinion, who is the best heavyweight fighting on this planet right now?
You know what? I don't want to say that is me, because, we all have our egos, but I feel Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight champion right now.
Is there one fighter that you haven't been in the ring with that you are just yearning to get into the ring and fight?
Probably with Anthony Joshua again, because that third fight has to happen. And, the trilogies it's always the best, and I feel that's going to be an amazing fight against me and him.
And last but not least, a year from now, you finish this statement, Andy Ruiz will be
2-time heavyweight champ.
I love it. He is the destroyer. He's Andy Ruiz. By the way, are you still doing like them Snickers commercials and all that type of thing? You had all kinds of endorsements coming your way.
Nah, no Snickers. I'm straight out by eating the sugar-free ones now. Nah, but my new hot sauce is coming out soon, so.
That's great. What's the name of it?
Chipilín.
I love it. So, folks, make sure once it hits the market, you go get some of that because
Chipilín.
Absolutely. Andy, we love it, my brother. Yo, you keep training hard, rehab that knee, and we can't wait to see you back in the ring.
Thank you, man. It was really fun, you guys having me, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys tune in next year, January, baby.
There you have it, folks. That's what we do. We bring you the biggest names in the sport, and in the heavyweight division, he is one of the biggest. He's the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next week.